Well, a very good day to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another episode of the Candy Talk here on Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. It's a pleasure to have you on board on Kenya's most comprehensive political and public governance analysis show. I'm here with Professor Herman Manyora. How are you, sir?
Wonderful. Yes.
Are you still in this country?
I'm in this country, this beautiful country.
I want us to have this conversation about your good friend, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua.
Yes.
Seemingly after what took place in the country and the president decided not to assent to the finance bill 2024, he came forth and actually appeared to be throwing the members of parliament who voted yes under the bus. And he said, wait, you people will have a day with your voters down there on the election day. Here it is, because he did not actually support them, maybe not actually in the manner that the president has actually come out to give support to them and perhaps congratulate them for their bold decisions. Why do you think it took him so long to actually come out and say, look, this bill was bad?
One of the laws among the 48 laws of power, I think a man called Green, whatever it's called, these useless writings. I think one of the prominent ones, do not overshadow your boss. The deputy president or the vice president or deputy governor is always in a very awkward position. You are not supposed to have a voice of your own. So until an opportunity presents itself, it is very difficult for any vice president anywhere, America, where, to come out and speak on an issue of national importance, unless you are just echoing what the president is saying. You know, Gachagua is a truthful man of God. So what he said must be understood within the context of him being a truthful man. Yeah, he's saying what many people may not want to say.
Okay.
Yeah, and basically he's saying that bill wasn't good. But as a deputy president, how was he ever going to say that?
Now tell me.
How would he ever say
now
that?
Actually helps him. Failing to say at that particular moment when everybody
It's
expected him
It's
to
very
go
difficult.
ahead and just say that this bill is bad.
It's not easy for the
Actually, that would keep him on the other side.
No, it's not easy for the deputy president. And the 2027 is still far. If what is happening now was happening in 2026, I can bet strongly, I'm not supposed to bet. My religious conviction doesn't allow me to bet, but it's just an expression. I can with certainty tell you, Gachagua would have left. It's a very opportune moment to say now, if we refuse to listen to the people who voted for us, if we allow our children to be shot by the police, how can I continue being part of this government? So Gachagua would bolt. But remember now, we still have a whole 3 years to go.
Okay.
More than 3 years, I think.
We expected him to
far.
take, you see, we expected him to take a stand more or less similar to the stand that was taken by William Ruto when he was the deputy president with regards to BBI support.
No.
You see, it was definitely against that.
Even Ruto took time to come out boldly. It took time.
Okay.
And even then, he was circumventing. He was not always direct to the point. Even BBI didn't oppose directly. Yeah. It is not easy when you are the deputy. Ruto became bold as elections got nearer. After calculating that he had most of the country with him, now he became bold. That's what I'm saying. Gachagua, it will be suicide for Gachagua to come out openly against the president now. But if it is another 2 years from now,
so he doesn't come out openly, decides to sit on the fence, waits until
Gachagua is not sitting on the fence. Gachagua is doing what a deputy president is supposed to do. You cannot go against your boss. You can't go against your boss because you only do so if you are outing, if you want to leave, or if you have your eye on his seat.
Okay.
But even then, the timing is proper, and that's why Ruto didn't resign. Everybody thought he should have resigned. I also thought so, but he didn't resign. He was calculating, and he paid the dividends. So you cannot ask Gachagua today to confront his boss on such matters. Behind the curtain, yes. Behind the tent, yes. But not on the public. It will be difficult for him to do that. But once the president has rejected the bill and MPs are hiding under the bed, then he can now come and tell them, please just get out, come out. People will understand you made these mistakes people make. It was a mistake, but forget, come out. Go and explain to the people that you mulikosea kidogo. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, the closest person, let me say, to the deputy president is the Nyeri governor, Mutahi Kega. Of course, he made his feelings public on this bill even before
Yes.
the deputy president came to speak of it. Can we therefore say that maybe the governor of Nyeri perhaps when he speaks, then whatever he
That's
says,
how politics works.
Definitely.
People know.
Reveals what the deputy
Everybody
president
knew
will say.
Gachagua'S may not have wanted to support this bill. They knew. But you know, he's in an awkward position. He can't come out and say, I'm not supporting the bill. How will he be the deputy
So
president?
you tell me this. Gachagua wants to actually unite the entire Mount Kenya region behind him, but at the same time, he's at loggerheads with members of parliament from that particular region, most of whom voted yes for this particular bill, the likes of Ndindi Nyoro, Kimani Ichung'wah, Kimani Kuria of Molo, and all that. So how then is he going to navigate this so that at the end of the day, he's successful in his venture?
You are talking as if he has not made serious strides. He has more or less succeeded in uniting Mount Kenya. Gachagua is now firmly in charge of Mount Kenya. And the people you are mentioning, actually, Gachagua has succeeded in presenting them and portraying them as traitors to the community. It's unfortunate. It may not be the right thing, but that's what it is. And it is what it is. That the names you are mentioning currently in Mount Kenya, these are traitors. And soon none of them. I say things that people say Manyora is a prophet. The other day Moses Kuria was...
I saw that.
Yeah. He couldn't speak to the people. And we are going to see a lot more of that. So Gachagua has succeeded, one, to unite the mountain, two, behind him, and three, to paint these people you are mentioning, these MPs, as traitors to the community. And it is working. Okay. Because the Kikuyu community has a history of unfortunately, working and living with traitors among them. The Ngati group, home guards. Okay. So that history is very easy for the traitor thing to work, the narrative, among the Mount Kenya people and the Luo people. You know, you need to understand your history.
I do understand.
See, among the Luo nation, they have been persecuted. The Luo nation has been persecuted. They have been betrayed after doing everything they could to put people like Kenyatta and the rest into power and assist them, including Raila with Kibaki Tosha and all that. Despite that, the Luo nation has been betrayed. They have been persecuted. Their sons have suffered for being in this country, for fighting for democracy. Jaramogi was not fighting for Luos. Jaramogi was fighting for Kikuyus. Jaramogi was asking, how come? People went to the forest, people died because of this land. How then do we take the land ourselves? And the people who fought and died for the land, their descendants cannot have even an acre of the land. Jaramogi wasn't fighting for Luos, you're fighting for Kikuyus. But yet they have paid for it. Now, so among the Luo nation, a traitor is never well received. Among the Kikuyu, at the peak of the fight for independence, there are people who did atrocious things to the community. Yeah. Okay. Including the people who betrayed Dedan Kimathi and had him arrested and finally killed. So the word traitor, the idea of a traitor among the Mount Kenya people would not be received in the same way among the Luya. It's nothing. You could say a traitor, it doesn't, or a Mijikenda, it's nothing. But among the Luo and the Kikuyu, the Mount Kenya people, Kikuyu is a general term for Mount Kenya. A traitor. And that's why I feel for people like Moses Kuria, Kimani Ichung'wah, and Ndindi Nyoro, they should be very careful, because once you have been successfully portrayed as a traitor to the community, you are in a hole, and getting out of that hole, it will be very, very difficult. Yeah.
So you're saying that at this particular moment, the individuals whom you've mentioned were on the wrong side of the history.
Yes.
And that is the kind of maybe the advantage that the deputy president perhaps now actually enjoys here. Now, you tell me about this. Then what about his outburst immediately after of course, the president gave his speech? You remember after the demonstrations of 25th, when he decided to blame everything on the NIS boss, Nordin Haji, was that necessary in the first place, or was it that the deputy president was somehow playing politics?
You know, the deputy president is a politician. That is his trade. Okay. So playing politics is like wondering why a fish is in water. That's where the fish belongs. So the deputy president is a politician.
So why would he drag the NIS boss into this?
Another thing is we are talking about Rigathi Gachagua as a deputy president. In his position and capacity, deputy president, he has information you and I don't have.
Okay.
Okay. So you want to assume, being part of the executive, an inseparable part of the executive, he's aware of what's going around and of the role of the NIS. And perhaps, and you know this politics, the president may even ask him to say so. Who knows? Because the president can't say it. Maybe he may ask him to say so.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe it's a game everybody's playing. Maybe all of them, including the NIS, you say this to diffuse the tension. But like I've said, Rigathi Gachagua is the deputy president of the Republic of Kenya. He's part of the executive. He knows things we don't know. But under normal circumstances, one, it is not in keeping with decorum for a person of that stature to talk about the director of intelligence in that manner. Okay? Two, it is also possible that what the deputy president is saying is true. But it's also possible what he's saying is not true and therefore he's playing politics, or that the NIS is doing its job, but they have failed to listen to NIS. And they are trying to look for a scapegoat. So all these things are possible. Okay. All of them are possible. I don't have the information. I do know that the deputy president is part of the executive. He knows security. You cannot keep the deputy president in the dark about security situation in the country. He would know about the intelligence reports. Even if you try, you will not succeed.
But then
he's so close to power, somehow he'll get to know. So maybe he knows what he's talking about, or maybe it's politics, maybe it's a game they are playing, all of them, including the NIS. You know, you cannot tell.
But at the same time, the NIS said that they do not report to him directly. They report to the president.
They are wrong. They report to him. Yeah. They should go back and read. They should go back and read the Constitution. We are talking of the presidency. Yes.
And he's part of the very
part of the presidency.
If he's part of the very presidency,
they report to him. They report to him. Everybody in this country reports to the Rigathi Gachagua. He's part of the presidency. Yeah.
If he's part of the presidency, in the spirit of collective responsibility.
And in any case, even directly, he's part of that, the security thing. So where do you report it? You report it how? Where do you report it?
Okay, that is where you're saying is.
Where do you engage on the matters of security? So that forum is a member of the forum.
So definitely is privy to some information that is within that is touching national security and issues of national.
But we don't know a lot.
We don't know a lot.
I always have a lot of respect for people like the intelligence and the military, because these are the people who keep the country together. I will be the last person to engage in public on the failings and weaknesses, unless in a very general way. And I've done that on many occasions. But even if I had the information and the details, I'll be the last person to engage that in public, because without the intelligence and the military, we will be a failed state in tomorrow. So we owe them some respect.
Okay. Now, my question was now actually that in the spirit of collective responsibility, now that the deputy president is part of the government and of course part of the presidency, this finance bill definitely belongs to the government. And a number of leaders have called him out. The likes of Moses Kuria says that he chaired the very first meeting where this bill was actually being drafted. Why is he running away? So don't you think that the deputy president would actually own up and have this thing as their own side, that even when the president is being blamed, he also takes a fair share?
Some things he does as part of the presidency. He does them as part of his duty. You don't need to believe in them. You don't need to support them. But as the deputy president, you'll sit there and chair. Part of your duty. You don't need to believe in what is going on. You can give your input. You can give your suggestion. But from the chair, you have to be careful what you say. Again, you are the deputy president. So I don't see any contradiction.
So you chair this particular meeting,
yes.
These things are drafted, you're there, you sign, and then when things turn sour, you run away.
Because you see, I've told you, It's not a question of running away. It's a question of being the deputy president.
Okay.
And your mouth is tied. Your hands are tied. There's so much you can't say as an independent Manyora. What I can say, deputy president cannot say. And anybody who has tried that, the government has quickly become dysfunctional. It has happened in Malawi, here and elsewhere. The moment the deputy president or the vice president and the president are not reading from the same script, a lot goes wrong and the country suffers. So you cannot blame the deputy president, Rigathi Gachagua, merely for chairing a session that then produces a document that everybody rejects. Yeah. Because he has only one option. There are actually the options are two. Either you behave like a deputy president and pass things you don't even believe in, or quit.
Okay.
Yeah. So unless you're asking me, he should have been man enough to quit. And in Kenya, nobody ever quits.
But I'm asking you, should they be man enough and own up to the mess of the government now?
You cannot do that and remain the deputy president.
Okay.
That you can do at the right time. If what is happening today was happening in 2026, you can be sure the Rigathi Gachagua would have quit and assembled his troops for 2027, whether as president or running mate, presidential candidate or running mate. He would quit if this was in 2026. But 3 years ahead, you cannot quit government. Suicide, political suicide. Yeah.
The president, he's here addressing the nation. The deputy president is having a different parallel meeting in Mombasa.
Yes.
Does that really make sense?
It depends on how they have agreed to work. Maybe that's how they agreed with Ruto.
Do you think it was
It's possible. These are politicians.
Say that the president is here with the members of parliament.
Yes. You say this because me, I can't say. You say it from Mombasa.
Okay.
That's how politics
So you
works.
believe there was some battle game being played here?
No, it is possible it was a game. Yeah.
Finally, talk to me about what...
Or it is also possible a small opportunity has presented itself for you now to say things you wouldn't have said before. Okay.
Finally, talk to me about what he said, because he said that there's a group of people who are trying to taint him and the former president and trying to blame them for all these skirmishes that we saw during the last demonstrations as perhaps maybe being financiers or the same.
First of all, I do not have such information of Uhuru Kenyatta, that's what you mean, or of Rigathi Gachagua taking part in the demonstration, either by supporting government activities beyond his own duty as deputy president, or by supporting the demonstrations for his selfish. I don't have that information. What you can ask me is, from where you sit, if you look at the situation, is it likely that Gachagua would have supported, financed and supported these demonstrations?
Now you tell me that.
That's the question you should be asking me. My mind tells me, what will he gain by doing that? Because let's say these demonstrations kicked out the government, how will he benefit?
If the demonstrations kicks out the government, meaning the president resigns, then automatically
They will go together. No. The situation, the situation that leads the tough man called Ruto to leave, you think it can leave son of Rigathi Gachagua, even if he's son of Mau? The water, the river flowing furiously, that will sweep Ruto out of power. Would it spare Gachagua?
But constitutionally, if you say Ruto must go, if Ruto
when
goes,
things get to that level, the constitution does not work in the manner in which it's written down. Things will have changed beyond that, beyond the letter and the word in the constitution. Even Wetangula, Papa Oroma, he will not be there for even one day the constitution says 90 days. No. To get to the point where Ruto lives, it cannot leave any of these people in power. So I doubt that Gachagua could be that naive to think that if we help the Gen Z remove Ruto from power, he would inherit him the way the constitution says. I don't think he's that naive. He knows it won't work. Just the mere fact of having a revolution or a skirmishes, whatever you call it, or a demonstration, that then force Ruto out of power. That fact alone tells you none of the people around Ruto will remain in power. Not Gachagua, not Weta, nobody. So even if the constitution is not overturned, There must be another arrangement other than the one stipulated in the constitution of the president leaves the deputy or rectangular, and that can't work. So that's why we say we don't want to get to that point. And I don't think Gachagua would be foolish enough to push the country in that direction. Yeah.
So he was right when he said that
you can't burn the house and you have a bedroom in the house. That's those people who say Gachagua is part of this. I think they are either naive or I don't know. Let me not use bad words. Gachagua has a room in this house, a bedroom, but it's not as big as the one Ruto uses. So you are saying he's saying let's put the house on fire so that he may now go to Ruto's bedroom because it's now bigger. He can use that one. That's very foolish. There will be no house in the first place. The house will be ashes. Okay. Which house, you think a house can burn and leave only that bedroom, which he will inherit? So the idea from a logical point of view, but politicians are not always logical. But from a logical point of view, I find it completely difficult to even imagine that Gachagua can be part of this mess we are going through. Because he stands to gain nothing. In fact, he has everything to lose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Tell me this. Right now, what's your most sincere and truthful opinion on Ruto's wave and influence in the Mount Kenya region? Because here you remember you just here talked about Moses Kuria while attending the burial of course,
Maina
Wanjigi, Jimmy Wanjigi's father. That is, of course, people started chanting, Ruto must go, and he had to cut his speech short there. Do you think the yellow wave in central region is quickly fading away? And as the deputy president realized this, that's why he doesn't want to go down with that particular wave.
The affairs of man, Shakespeare has told that. They're just like tides. Woo, 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 woo. You get it?
Yes.
At some point, nobody would have imagined Ruto can face Raila as an opponent. People would laugh if you told them even by just as early as 2018, that we could get to a point where Ruto is opposing Raila. People would really laugh. Leave alone beating him. People would think you are crazy. Are we together? In 2002, people said all manner of things about Uhuru Kenyatta. But 10 years later, he was their president. Nobody would have imagined Ruto would control the mountain and snatch it from Uhuru's hands. But he did it, right? Now, unfortunately for Ruto, he's very unpopular in Mount Kenya. Very unpopular. In fact, if you want perhaps to be greeted, go talking positively about Ruto. He must know. The intelligence knows. It's not Manyora saying. Ruto must know by now that he's very unpopular around the mountain. That's not to say that all is lost. He's lucky because there is still so much he can do to change all that perception. Because he was the darling of the mountain. Just like a couple that separates, it is always possible they can get back with more revived love and vigor, and forge ahead and become a stronger family, stronger partners, an enduring marriage that will last until their old age. At some point celebrating 50 years of marriage. It is still possible for William Ruto to win back the Mount Kenya. But frankly speaking, as we speak today, William Samoei Ruto has lost Mount Kenya. As we speak today, he has lost it.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you have it. And seemingly your good friend, the deputy president, doesn't want to be part of that kind of wave that is sweeping down William Ruto's influence.
And as part of what Gachagua is doing is in realization of that. When you hear Gachagua tell you, mimi najua ground, I hear the ground, I listen to the ground. My bosses ni wangapi? President William Ruto and the ground. You know what he's saying? He's saying the ground has rejected them.
So are you trying to say
That's what he's saying,
are you trying to
ground.
say that the other members of parliament from the region haven't realized what he has
You
really
know,
said?
they should see. Gachagua is a man of the ground. He's saying the people have rejected us. And at the right time, he will leave unless the president and his government change the approach to politics and to the issues of affecting the people of this country. Because, unfortunately for the president, when there are hard times, especially economic hard times, they hit the people of the mountain more than other people.
Okay.
And when Gachagua talks of the ground, what Gachagua is saying basically is that ni kubaya huko chini. Huko ni kubaya tu. Huko nobody wants us. He knows. So he's trying to move away slowly. And at the right time, unless the president changes, at the right time, Gachagua will switch openly.
So that's why he was asking, where did the rain start beating?
Yes,
You are
yes.
the darling of this particular people.
Yes, he knows. And the ground is clear that the yellow wave, they are erasing the yellow color. And they are it's almost nowhere in Mount Kenya. A few areas, Mount Kenya East kidogo, but most of Mount Kenya, and a bit of Kiambu kidogo, but most of Mount Kenya, the yellow color is not wanted, it's not welcome.
Okay.
But the president can paint, can take another set of painters, and they go to the mountain and paint it yellow. It's still possible.
That's the dynamics of politics here.
Correct.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is it with Professor Herman Manyora here. He's saying that, well, the deputy president still has a chance, though he does not want to go down with the influence of the President William Ruto that is actually dwindling in that particular region. Let's wait and see what takes place. Till then, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.